कि जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी, एक ये शब्द है वर्सेस वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, ये शब्द है। और दोनों के अपने अपने महत्व हैं, दोनों को हम कम नहीं आंक सकते, ज्यादा भी नहीं आंक सकते, दोनों का लगभग बराबर महत्व है। आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में अगर हम बात करें, देखिए मैं राष्ट्रवादी हूँ और सभी हैं, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। लेकिन आप देखेंगे रिसेंटली कुछ वर्षों से सभी, ये पूरे दुनिया में ये ट्रेंड चल रहा है कि राष्ट्रवाद हावी हो रहा है ग्लोबलाइजेशन पे, या कुछ ऐसे दक्षिणपंथी सरकारों का आना। सिर्फ भारत की बात नहीं कर रहा मैं, अमेरिका में देखिए ट्रंप का आना, और भी कंट्री में, एक दो कंट्री में और भी ऐसे ट्रेंड देखने को मिल रहा है। भारत में बीजेपी सरकार का बनना जो दक्षिणपंथी है, ये अपने आप में एक प्रश्न खड़ा करता है कि क्या हम राष्ट्रवाद को महत्व दे रहे हैं वैश्विकता पर। हमें ये सोचना होगा कि अगर राष्ट्र, जैसे अमेरिका फर्स्ट, ट्रंप ने कहा अमेरिका फर्स्ट, भारत भी लगभग इसी रणनीति पर चल रहा है कि हम आगे बढ़ें, ये अच्छी बात है। लेकिन क्या हमें अगर दूसरे को सामने रख के, दूसरे को साथ लेकर हम अगर आगे चलें तो फायदा है, लेकिन अगर दूसरे को हम गिरा के या उसे कुछ ऐसा हानि पहुंचा करके आगे बढ़े, तो ये राष्ट्रवाद किसी काम का नहीं है। इसलिए अभी अगर बात किया जाए तो हमें, क्योंकि ग्लोबल विलेज, जैसा कि कहा आपने भी कहा कि विश्व तो एक ग्लोबल विलेज हो गया है, हमें अपने राष्ट्र के हित की प्रधानता को सुनिश्चित करते हुए पूरे विश्व को साथ लेकर के चलना है। और मेरा झुकाव वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की ओर ज्यादा रहेगा, वरण मत की हम जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी, यह भी है। लेकिन भी दोनों में से ही चुनना पड़े मुझे, तो मैं वसुधैव कुटुंबकम को चुनूंगा। और रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर जी का एक बहुत अच्छा कथन है, आप लोगों ने सुना ही होगा, बहुत फेमस है, कि उन्होंने कहा था एक बार कि मैं कभी भी राष्ट्रवाद को मानवता पर हावी नहीं होने दूंगा। ऐसा ही कुछ, मतलब भाव यही था, शब्द थोड़े बहुत आगे पीछे हो रहे हों, पर भाव यही था कि मैं कभी भी राष्ट्रवाद को मानवता पर हावी नहीं होने दूंगा। इसका मतलब वो ये नहीं है कि वो राष्ट्रवादी नहीं थे, इसका मतलब सिर्फ इतना है कि अगर दोनों में से किसी एक को चुनना पड़े तो हम वैश्विकता को चुने, हम मानवता को चुने। क्योंकि किसी भी, हमने पढ़ा था, बचपन में पढ़ा था कि एक व्यक्ति से बड़ा एक परिवार होता है, एक परिवार से बड़ा एक गांव होता है, गांव से बड़ा एक समाज होता है। अगर समाज दांव पे लगा हो तो एक परिवार की बलि दी जा सकती है, अगर एक राष्ट्र दांव पे लगा हो तो एक समाज की बलि दी जा सकती है। वैसे ही अगर पूरा विश्व दांव पे लगा हो तो एक राष्ट्र की बलि भी दे दी जानी चाहिए, मेरी समझ ये कहती है। और इसलिए मैं वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का पक्ष लूंगा। मेरा टाइम हो गया है शायद।
जी मितेश, धन्यवाद। तो मितेश ने जिस तरह से बताया है कि आजकल तो राष्ट्रवाद हावी हो रहा है वैश्विकता पे, लेकिन ये सही नहीं है कि आप दूसरे देश को गिरा कर चल रहे हैं। अगर उसे साथ लेकर चलेंगे तो सभी देशों का एक साथ फायदा होगा। तो आप वैश्विकता को चुनेंगे राष्ट्रवाद के ऊपर। जी, तो मितेश के लिए कोई काउंटर क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे हैं? जी निखिल।
I do have a counter to your part. You said if we have to prefer humanity over nationalism.
Yes.
So what if the other countries are going war against you? For example, our neighbors. You are not going to have like humanism, because humanism is not going to prevent you. Is going to prevent you by killing them. They are active in cross-border terrorism. For example, if we take a case of COVID pandemic per se, we have witnessed some kind of medicines, life-saving drugs. US, the big daddy US, once kind of manipulated all the medical stockpiles to it. Where did the principle of humanism went that much time? Thank you.
तुमने सही कहा। मैं जहां तक समझ पा रहा हूँ कि देखिए मेरी थोड़ी इंग्लिश कमजोर है, थोड़ी क्या बहुत ही कमजोर है। जहां तक मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ कि आप ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि अगर बाकी लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं तो हम क्या करें, फिर यही सवाल है क्या?
Yes, आप सारांश में से बोल सकते हैं कि अगर बाकी लोग
हाँ, मैं समझ रहा हूँ। देखिए ये बात इन्होंने बिल्कुल सही कहा, और यही समस्या है पूरे विश्व की, यही तो समस्या है कि बाकी लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं और हम ही करें तो हम तो मतलब बेवकूफ बन जाएंगे, सीधी बात है। जैसे जहां तक कार्बन उत्सर्जन की बात है, अमेरिका, उन लोगों ने, मतलब जो पश्चिमी देश है, सबने 1850 से उन्होंने शुरू कर दिया था कार्बन उत्सर्जन, और अब कह रहे हैं कि नहीं आप कम करो, जबकि वो कर चुके और विकसित हो गए और हम तो अभी शुरू किया करना। देखिए ये सवाल है, सच में ये बहुत गंभीर सवाल है कि हम शुरुआत करें या फिर पहले हम पहुंच जाने दे वहां तक, हम भी 50-100 साल कार्बन उत्सर्जन कर लें, उसके बाद हम रोकेंगे, क्योंकि तुम तो कर चुके हो 150 साल। लेकिन देखिए अगर ऐसा चलता रहा, तो अगर ऐसा ही हम सोचते रहे और ऐसा चलता रहा, तो ये एक पक्ष नहीं, ये सबको सोचना होगा। मैं सिर्फ भारत की बात नहीं कर रही, संपूर्ण विश्व समाज को ये सोचना होगा कि हम एक दूसरे के बारे में सोचें। एक कोई नहीं कर सकता, अगर हम सिर्फ करें बाकी लोग ना करें तो इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है। सबको सोचना है। इसके बावजूद मैं कह रहा हूं कि अगर भारत का पक्ष रखना हो मुझे तो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का पक्ष रखूंगा, क्योंकि अगर मान लीजिए कार्बन उत्सर्जन का ही मैंने एग्जांपल दिया, अगर मान लीजिए कि अगर हम वही विचारधारा अपनाएं कि हम 100 साल तो कार्बन उत्सर्जन कर लेंगे, उसके बाद हम सोचेंगे क्योंकि तुमने 150 साल पहले कार्बन उत्सर्जन कर चुके हो, 150 साल हम भी करेंगे और 100 साल उसके बाद करेंगे। अगर ऐसा सोचे तो इसका प्रकृति तो ये नहीं जानती है, प्रकृति को ये नहीं पता कि ये कर रहा है कि ये कर रहा है, वो तो सबको समान गिरेगा, सब पे समान प्रकोप होगा उसका। और इसमें जो विकसित है उनको ज्यादा नुकसान नहीं होगा। इसमें जो विकासशील देश हैं, जो गरीब देश हैं, अभी आप कोविड में अफ्रीका की स्थिति देखिए, उनको कोई वैक्सीन नहीं मिल रहा। जो विकासशील देश हैं वो ज्यादा चपेट में है, विकसित फिर भी ठीक है। तो मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूं कि अगर और ये समस्या ज्यादातर प्रकृति के मामले में, ये जो हम कन्वेंशन का वगैरह करते हैं, इसी पे ज्यादा उठती है कि हम वैश्विकता को बढ़ावा दें या राष्ट्रवाद को, और कई सारे जो पक्ष है इसमें राष्ट्रवाद को भी बढ़ावा देना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि सही बात है, ये भी एक पक्ष है कि हम सिर्फ क्यों करें, बाकी लोग क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं। लेकिन भी हमें सबको सोचना होगा, पूरे विश्व समुदाय को ये कन्वेंस करना होगा कि नहीं, ये सबके हित में है कि हम सोचें, वैश्विकता को बढ़ावा दें।
जी मितेश, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कोई और सवाल है क्या मितेश के लिए? Okay, so since we do not have any rebuttal questions for Mitesh, I would be moving to the next speaker. Do we have Nikhil Mishra with us?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Oh, okay, you are Nikhil Mishra. So, can you speak against the motion?
Yes, ma'am, I am against the motion only.
Yeah, please.
Are we supposed to turn on our cameras as well?
No, not needed.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, my fellow panelists. So my position on this topic is very clear. It cannot be very clear. I would prefer nationalism over globalism. Reason being, the first, if you go into the definition of humanity, it is a colonial thought as well. What is the trend here is, we do not apply Bharatiya filters before importing any Western ideas to India. For example, I am going to cite one very crucial incidence of this time. We have all heard about gender crisis, gender identity, sexuality. All of these terms per se are imported from the West without applying any Bharatiya lens to it. The preconceived notion here is that the sexuality of other genders, which is not, for example, prevalent. For example, you take homosexuality, you take transgenderism. We had those kind of ideologies in India in place. We never discriminated, and I have historical evidences. I can give you certain literature which support my argument. So, what is the preconceived notion here today is that the word people are suffering from hunger, okay, but the youth is busy in justifying or rather identifying the type of pronoun they want to use. They want to apply first world problem to a third world country, unfortunately to a third world country, because we don't have that much health infrastructure. We don't have that much of financial sound. We are not a financially sound country. We have poor infrastructure. I am going to read it, but I am not going to use the word underdeveloped country, because the definition of developed or underdeveloping country is imported from the West, and I am not going to allow the colonial consciousness to tell me whether I am developed or not. Yes, that does not. Now, I'm going to clear my position that does that mean I don't support development? No, I do support it. But saying this, you have what is the development for them? They have the disasters to the nature. You see a map, so you see through a satellite. Okay, you will find vast stretches of land barren. That is a product of globalism. And if you look at the Indian perspective, the Bharatiya way, I am saying the Bharatiya way, not Indian way, because the Bharatiya way was developed in such a way that the nature was in the center. We had traditions per se, which supported or promoted the growth of nature. We preserve nature. You go anywhere in the country, you will find a tree, at least a tree, water, river, even sun. We treat it as God. If globalism is going to be a disaster to nature, I'm not going to allow it to my country. My point is, if you are going to go for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, you have to first have your kutumb, which means your family. If you don't have a place to live, you don't belong to anyone. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for speaking with us. So, Nikhil spoke against the motion, and he said that even the definition of humanity, which is so much prevalent in globalism, is also a colonial thought. Right. And many of the definitions have also been taken from the same thing, and colonial consciousness is prevailing everywhere. So, rightly said. Do we have any rebuttals for Nikhil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Devanshu.
Ma'am, in the whole of the speech I've listened, the only one point he has told that it is the Western thoughts imposing on the third world countries. He has said this point only. And our topic is globalization, which means that the synergy between the states, the countries, and not the imposition of the thoughts of the West world countries. So this is not related to the topic.
हाँ, जैसे इन्होंने कहा, अगर मान लीजिए कि वेस्ट कंट्रियां अच्छे विचार दे रही हैं, तो उसमें अपनाने में भी क्या दिक्कत है किसी को?
Saying that
अच्छी बात है वो तो।
it is all about the synergy between the states.
हाँ।
Which is
Okay, just a minute, Mitesh. Nikhil, do you have something to say?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Yeah, please.
In my debate, I also talked about natural catastrophe. We also talked about the pronoun. We are having a third world problem, third world country problem, and we are fighting over what pronouns are we going to use. Some youngster is supposed to be engaged in solving.
आवाज कट रही है।
Am I audible? Is it clear now?
yes, it is.
He is clearly audible.
Okay. If
आवाज नहीं आ रही।
which is like 35% of the country's population, if majority of that 35% population is engaged in deciding or debating over what type of pronouns they want to use or what are they are going to identify themselves, I don't think we are going to get developed. And I use developed here because I have to scale it down to your level, because developed here means you have better health infrastructure, better facilities, better basic needs. You have to address those things. Okay. Now coming to a question, why is this related to globalism? Because the idea of gender crisis, gender identity, is a Western idea, which is a very new comparison. This whole of gender identity.
So you're speaking about gender identity, and
Yeah,
topic is globalization.
I gave one.
Why are you using this
globalization.
topic, sir?
Let me explain my position, sir. I gave one example of globalization. Isn't it the globalization that we are exposed to some kind of thought, which we have already discussed in the past? I'm waiting for a response. Sorry.
No. Devanshu, is Nikhil audible to you?
No, ma'am, he's not audible to me.
Devanshu. Okay, if you have more arguments and counter questions, we can have them at last. I would just go on to the next speaker. Devanshu. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, Devanshu, you have to speak for the motion, right?
Yes, ma'am, for the motion.
Yeah, please.
First of all, good evening, educators, my team members, and members of the opposing team and audience. I'm Devanshu Maurya, and I'm speaking for the motion. Then the topic is fostering globalism. Topic is fostering globalism over nationalism is more humanistic. Globalism is very common in modern era, but it can be traced its roots back in the ancient Silk Route. Globalism is a way to enhance trade as well as relation between countries, whereas nationalism is of having the concept of that my own country is more powerful or superior than all other countries, which is very bad way, and it also affects the relation between the countries. The only through the globalism we can deal with global challenges like climate change, terrorism, money laundering, and very recent example we have seen is COVID-19. Nationalism will make these situations worse, as countries will think that the reason for all these global issues are not them, but the other countries in the world. Excessive nationalism can even lead to war and domination of smaller countries, which you can see in various parts of the world. Increase in enmity between the states is also reason of the excessive nationalism, which is prevalent. Right-wing groups try to reduce the thoughts of the left-wing group and impose the orthodoxy of the religion, which is also the subset of the excessive nationalism. I'm not saying that nationalism is bad, but it is good for medium level, not for, because excessive of it can even lead to wars. And at last, I want to say that even the G20 summit, which is the group of most developed countries, most developed 20 countries, which is headed by India this year, as the motto of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning the world is one family. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Devanshu. So he emphasized that globalism can lead to prosperity in trade between countries, and it can also help us to deal with the global challenges, whereas nationalism is kind of a feeling where people feel that their own country is superior than others, and even they think that the global issues that are there, so that country is not the reason for those global issues. Fine. Do we have any rebuttals for Devanshu? Yes, Nikhil.
For you, since you mentioned the right wing, so and I've seen that you have a problem with orthodox ways and the right wing methods of governance, I would like to know your position when the left wing was in power. That means from Bharati perspective and from the world perspective. Let me clarify my position as well. during Cold War era, the most of the time the power was with the left wing, okay, and in this decade, power was also in left wing in Obama rule, okay. Now they launched drone strikes, they launched armed conflicts with other nations, they conducted serious devastation to the countries and the people. Where were the humanistic principles then? Where did they go?
So your question is not related to the globalism right now, till now, sir. Because sir, it is not about right wing, left wing. I have mentioned a small point, that is right wing generally leads to religion orthodoxy. That's all. The whole topic is globalism and nationalism, not right wing, left wing, or Cold War and anything else.
Then, yes, sir, you mentioned in your points that is why I had to ask this question.
Yes, sir. I have said generally it leads to this. I'm not saying that right wing is bad or left wing is good. My topic is globalism. So please ask the relevant questions.
Okay, so any other question for Devanshu? I think Akshat had, but he left the meeting. So we can move on to the next speaker, Sania. Do we have Sania with us? She's there. Okay, so is there anyone who would like to speak against the motion now? Anyone who is left to speak against the motion can speak.
Hello, am I audible enough?
Yes, Sania, welcome.
Thank you, Imani. So
Yeah.
today I'll be speaking against the motion. That is, I would be supporting nationalism. Nationalism is a concept of loyalty toward a nation. It's a concept that unites people of a nation. People of a nation share common factors such as language, history, culture, tradition, and purpose, which brings them together and promotes a sense of belonging within people. Nationalism gives strength to people of the nation by promoting feeling of unity. It seems like sometimes crime rates or other illegal activities are significantly low in countries with strong nationalism. It happens because nationalism puts feeling of love toward the countrymen. Therefore, people avoid committing a crime against their own countrymen and nation. Nationalism in India, independence, such as incidents such as World Wars, Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh, it motivated Indians to fight against the Britishers for their independence. The feeling of nationalism was the main driving force. However, globalism, it means elimination of trade barriers, promoting communication and cultural exchange. Sometimes globalization is all about copying the Western ideas. It simply denotes dominance of West over the rest of the world. For example, let's say nowadays we have been so accommodated with adopting Western culture, such as drinking Starbucks or eating McDonald's, wearing Western clothes, speaking Western language instead of one's own. It leads to cultural drain. Globalization also destroys nationalism while weakening the national barriers between the countries. Rapid contact of people due to technology often leads to stereotyping and hatred for other. It increases conflict. It also leads to erosion of nation's culture, ideals, values, and promotes. From a cultural and traditional point of view, if we were to say, let's say when people immigrate from one country to another, it also affects the demography of the country, which results in homogeneous culture. It also increases the cultural tension among the people. It leads to drain of the country's local markets, local vendors or sellers, which depletes the wealth gap between the people. For example, when globalization increases, the imports and all of these things are affected, which leads to excessive wealth gap between the people. I think that was enough from my side.
Okay, thank you so much, Sania. So she spoke against the motion, and she said that nationalism gives strength to people, and where nationalism is strong, those countries have low crime rates. And even she also said that globalism is sometimes the domination of the Western ideas, and it can also lead to stereotypes, homogeneous culture, excessive wealth gap, and a lot of content. So thank you so much, Sania. Do we have any rebuttals for her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mitesh and Devanshu, both of you have rebuttals.
मैम जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि राष्ट्रीय आंदोलन जो लड़ा गया था वो भी नेशनलिज्म मतलब नेशनलाइजेशन उसके लिए था। मेरा एक सवाल है, जैसे आप अगर गांधी जी को पढ़ेंगे, जो कि बहुत महान नेता थे स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन के दौरान, वो हमेशा कहा करते थे कि मेरी लड़ाई अंग्रेजों से नहीं है, मेरी लड़ाई मतलब अंग्रेजों से इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि वो मतलब उनके अगर आप पक्ष को देखेंगे तो वो भी ग्लोबलाइजेशन के ही पक्ष में थे, लेकिन चूंकि भारत मतलब अपने आप को हार कर नहीं, मैंने पहले भी यही बात कही कि अपने को साथ लेते हुए सबको साथ ले रहा, यही गांधी जी की विचारधारा थी। तो हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि जो स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन है वो सिर्फ इस नेशनलाइजेशन के लिए लड़ा गया था। राष्ट्रीयता की भावना तो थी, लेकिन गांधी जी की अगर हम बात करें तो उसमें अंग्रेजों के लिए कोई बैर भावना नहीं थी, विरोध भावना नहीं थी। और यही कारण है कि वो उनकी स्वतंत्रता, उनकी स्वराज की परिभाषा बहुत डिफरेंट है, उनकी स्वतंत्रता की बहुत ज्यादा विस्तृत है। मेरा ये कहना है, मैं इनके इस बात से एग्री नहीं करता कि सिर्फ स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन इसलिए लड़ा गया था।
Yes, Sania, it's your turn to answer, Mitesh.
Can I weigh in if she is not able to answer?
It's okay. Anyone who is against the motion can answer her
Yes, I'm
question.
against the motion, and I want to just listen the question at the hand. Can you please repeat the question, Mitesh?
सर मेरा ये सवाल है, जैसे इन्होंने मैंने क्वेश्चन नहीं किया था, मैंने सिर्फ इस चीज का, मैं इस बात से एग्री नहीं करता कि जो स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन लड़ा गया था इसमें वो सिर्फ आजाद होने के लिए लड़ा गया था, क्योंकि आजादी के मतलब भी अलग अलग हैं। मतलब सबके आजादी के मतलब अलग अलग परिणाम थे, तो सिर्फ राजनीतिक आजादी इसका मतलब वो नहीं था। राजनीतिक आजादी तो एक लक्ष्य था ही, लेकिन गांधी जी की अगर हम बात करें तो उनकी विचारधारा में आजादी का बहुत विस्तृत मतलब है। उन्होंने कहा स्वराज, उन्होंने कहा ना कि अगर कोई किसी हिंसा के थ्रू प्राप्त की हुई आजादी मुझे मंजूर नहीं। तो कहने का मतलब ये है, जहां तक मैं गांधी जी को समझता हूं कि उन्होंने वैश्विकता पर हावी नहीं होने दिया नेशनलिज्म को। जहां तक टैगोर की मैंने एग्जांपल दिया, गांधी जी का भी अभी दे रहा हूं। ये दोनों महापुरुषों ने।
सानिया आ चुकी हैं, वो शायद आंसर करेंगे आपके सवाल का।
हाँ हाँ ठीक है
सानिया।
Hello.
Yes, Sania.
Okay, yes, I do get from where you are coming, but I just gave an instance of nationalism. I did not say it was the only factor which led Indians towards independence, right? And also in those times, India did not have any concept of globalization so far, because India in its own ways was struggling with different crises, which was like poverty and many more things. So just arguing with me that Gandhi, in his perspective, obviously globalization was a maybe big term, or maybe he did not support nationalism. But nationalism was also the main factor for Indian independence, and we cannot ignore it. Unless people were not, before Gandhiji, people were not united at all. And therefore, there were, you can say, there were no unity in the Indians. But after the feeling of nationalism, people got united, and therefore it led to independence ultimately.
Devansh, do you also have a question for Sania?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please go on.
Ma'am, in her speech, she has said that the immigration of the people is affecting the society of that country. I totally disagree with this point. That it is contrary to the standpoint of India only, sir. As India is the largest receiver of the remittances in the world in terms of dollars, and we, the Indians, go to other countries, mostly South Indians and South Asia, to other countries and get the remittance. If this is in support of the globalization, if that country is nationalistic, they will block all this immigration, and this is contrary to the standpoint of India only. In also, ma'am, COVID-19 time, we as the India is exported the most vaccines across the globe when everybody is holding.
Yes, Sania, you want to answer Devansh's question?
Yes, I do want. Even though Indians are the ones who go to countries like America or UK, but Indians are, or they are foreigners in those countries, aren't they? And I told that immigration leads to change in structural. It brings a structural change in the society of those countries. It brings changes in their demography. If you ask a normal American there who is the native of America, they would be against it, because of the immigration, their rights, their right of job, their right of their opportunities, they were snatched by Indians who went there.
Yeah, this is all due to nationalism only. That's why I'm saying that globalism is more important than nationalism. Yeah, you are flavoring that globalism only.
Okay, so if you have further to discuss, we can do it at last. Now I invite Dipesh Maurya to speak for the motion. Do we have Dipesh with us? Dipesh, are you there? So anyone who would like to speak for the motion? Yes, Dipesh, you're not clearly audible. Dipesh, unmute yourself and try to speak so that we can check. Okay, till then, anyone who would like to speak for the motion?
I'm not speak.
Okay, Dipesh, please proceed. Dipesh, your time has started.
And I told him we guys should be categorized.
Okay, looks like there is some kind of network issue from the page side. So, is there anyone who would like to speak for the motion? Okay, weak network. Anyone who would like to speak for the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ruchi, I was waiting for you. Yes.
Good
Okay.
evening, everyone. I raised my hand, ma'am, but you not announce my name. I'm waiting for my name.
Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Today I speak for the motion. First of all, we know here everyone explained what's the meaning of globalization, what's the meaning of nationalism, what's the meaning of humanism. But these all my conclusion बस यही है. Either the globalization, either the humanism, either the nationalism. These all meaning, these all just connect. These all what it means the connect our feelings to other. If we take the moments in the globalization means the what inter exchange the our culture with the other countries in the whole world. As for example, we take during the French Revolution. From here, we adopt the words liberal. If globalization has not for us that time, the meaning of liberal we can't understand. If we talk about the western culture के बारे में अगर हम लोग जाने अगर हम लोग वेस्टर्न कल्चर से कुछ सीखा तो this अगर during the period colonization period we have not the railway because of during the colonization periods we adopt the railway system. तो मैं बस इतना कहना चाहूंगी कि हर सिक्के की दो पहलू होती है. फर्स्ट वन इज द प्रॉफिट एंड द सेकंड वन इज द लॉस. अगर हम जब कोलोनाइजेशन में थे, जब हम गुलामी में थे, तो आई नो कि बहुत ज्यादा हमें सप्रेस किया गया, बहुत ज्यादा चीजें हमें से ले ली गई, बट बहुत चीज हम लोग वहां से सीखे भी. अगर बात करें नेशनलिज्म की, तो नेशनलिज्म मीन्स क्या, लव आवर नेशंस. तो जो वर्ड जो फीलिंग हम लोग नेशनलिज्म के साथ ऐड कर रहे हैं, द सेम थिंग्स व्हाई वी नॉट ऐड विद ग्लोबलाइजेशन. ह्यूमन नेचर इज व्हाट कि हम जो चीज अपना है वी लव आवर सेल्फ. अभी अगर मैं टीम मेंबर की बात करूं, इफ वी प्ले इन स्पोर्ट्स वी कम फ्रॉम अदर बैकग्राउंड, बट व्हेन वी प्ले ये मेरी टीम है, ये मेरी फैमिली है. अगर द सेम थिंग अगर ह्यूमैनिटिज्म को एक्सप्लेन किया जाए एक वाइड लेवल पे, तो व्हाई वी नॉट टेक एज अ ग्लोबलाइजेशन. इफ वी टेक इंटायर कंट्री इज आवर ओन फैमिली, आवर ओन कंट्री. मैं ट्रीट ना करूं कि वो वेस्टर्न कल्चर है, वो अमेरिकन कल्चर है, वो ये है, वो है. अगर हम लोग ट्रीट करें एक चीज, सारे कंट्रीज को एक फीलिंग से ट्रीट किया जाए, तो आई थिंक जो ये टेररिज्म की बात हो रही है, नॉन वायलेंस की बात हो रही है, कभी कभी बहुत ज्यादा अभी जो हम लोगों ने देखा रशिया वर्सेस यूक्रेन की जो बहुत ज्यादा भिड़ंत हुई, तो ये सारी की प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन मुझे यूं ही चुटकियों में मिल जाएगा अगर हम लोग पूरी कंट्री को वासुदेव कुटुंब की फीलिंग्स पे रखें, नॉट फॉर द इंडियन ओनली, फॉर द होल वर्ल्ड. So I think globalization is the best way to learn what's the meaning of humanitisms, and हम लोग को उसी को फॉलो करना चाहिए. हमें राष्ट्रवाद, why we always fight with India versus Pakistan, क्यों? अगर वही चीजें हम लोग यूनाइट होके करें, तो I don't think the moment will come we fight for our nation and the Pakistani fight for all nations. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ruchi. So this was Ruchi speaking for the motion, and see, she emphasized that as nationalism means love for nation, the same thing can also apply in globalism, right? So well said. Do we have any rebuttals for Ruchi? Any counter question to Ruchi?
Ruchi, actually you presented a very ideal world scenario. The world is not ideal. The world is not fairy tale. We have nuisance element, and the existence of Pakistan is not because they just do Sajda and used to do Namaste. They had a clear-cut notion since the first freedom struggle. And I will quote you, I can give you static literature. Now my question to you is, the existence of Pakistan is because the existence of Pakistani army and Pakistani state is because of the hate of India. If the existence is on the basis of hate, then how can you expect that Pakistan is going to be united with us? How can you expect this kind of notions, preposterous notions?
First of all, Nikhil sir, I said that ideal is the something which is not real. And I say, if the feelings of nationalism about the globalization, then why the necessary for the fighting for all for the peace of land? अगर बात हुई घर पे भी झगड़े होते हैं in entire with the two family members for the things, for the feelings. मेरा कहना ये नहीं है, मैं नहीं कह रही हूँ कि वर्ल्ड इज लाइक अ फेरी टेल। मैं बस इतना कह रही हूँ कि जो चीजें हम लोग अपने नेशंस के लिए फील करते हैं कि दैट्स अबाउट आवर नेशन, जो पेट्रियोटिक फीलिंग हमारे नेशन के लिए आती है कि मैं अपने देश के लिए मर मिटूंगी, मैं अपने देश के लिए ये करूंगी, व्हाई वी डोंट थिंक एज अ ब्रॉड सेंस, बिकॉज द एरा इज कम, जब से हमारे यहाँ मोदी जी आए हैं, वी एक्सपेक्ट आवर कंट्री, हम अपने देश को, भारत देश को एज अ विश्व गुरु मानना देख रहे हैं। पूरे वर्ल्ड पे, पूरे इंडिया की ही बोलबाल हो। मैंने ऐसा भी नहीं कहा कि पाकिस्तान अपनी फीलिंग्स, पाकिस्तान आर्मी आए और हमसे फाइट करे, दे फाइट फॉर द पीस ऑफ लैंड ओनली ना। अगर वो ये फील करे कि इंडिया हैव इंडिया हैव ओन लैंड, पाकिस्तान हैव ओन लैंड, तो ये बाउंड्री की जो फाइटिंग है, ये जो थोड़ी बहुत मतलब जो भी मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग है, वो तो क्लियर हो जाएगी ना। हर प्रॉब्लम की एक सोल्यूशन होती है। अगर हम लोग ब्रॉड लेवल पे सोचे, तब अगर हर एक चीज की मैं नुक्स निकाले, तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि कभी भी प्रॉब्लम की सोल्यूशन मिलेगी हमें। आई होप आई एक्सप्लेन।
Actually, I had a various serious cross questioning, but since cross questioning is not allowed, so I'm not going to ask. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, Nikhil, you can do that in the second round, right?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. So, do we have any other question for Ruchi? Okay, moving forward, is there anyone who would like to speak against the motion? Nikhil and Sania had already spoken. Anyone who would like to speak against the motion for full 4 minutes or less, as per your convenience? Okay, anyone else who is left to speak either for or against the motion? Any of the speakers? All right, so since we have no more speakers,
I am left
you would be speaking for or against?
for the motion.
Okay, Vishal, please.
So, firstly, we have understood the terms globalization, nationalism, and humanity. The first point here I would like to put is that globalization is a thing wherein people's or traditions or goods, services, information are just globalized. Means not in a particular country, but all over the world. Swami Vivekananda said a quote that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole world is a family. Globalization has many benefits. Firstly, the thing is that the cost of the goods that are created all over the different countries. For example, China provides electronic goods at a very cheap rate, because of which we can use their smartphones, be it Realme, Xiaomi, or the phones which they produce at a very low amount. If these things are produced in India, the cost would be much higher. Secondly, outsourcing. Outsourcing is a way wherein different tech companies from various countries, be it America, Australia, they just outsource their work to the people in different countries. India is a hub for outsourcing of software engineering. India recently has become a hub, and yes, it has provided employment to numerous amount of people. The CSE is at boom in India. Being an engineering student myself, I have seen that the technologies like AI, ML, data science, data analytics, blockchain, etc. are just booming. Be it AR, VR, artificial, like augmented reality, virtual reality, they are just booming in India. Why? Because of outsourcing. Because the companies are hiring professionals on that basis. So globalization is good in that way. Third point here I want to put is that I want to give the example of China. When Mao was there, the president of China in 1949, then firstly they decided to develop the country on 4 pillars. First was education, second was agriculture, third was defense military, and fourth was science and technology. So firstly they were just like they wanted to grow their own people. They were like, first we will develop the skills of our own people so that they have a better standard of living, have a good economic growth of their country. But later they understood that this is not going to work. And after that, in 1972, a policy came wherein China just adopted globalization on a large basis. And that was much beneficial for it. Today, the economy of China is around 15 trillion, which is just an estimate. The real economy we don't know, and it's much more higher than 15 trillion. So, giving the example of China, globalization is a good part over there. One thing more that can be added here is that if we just get involved in our country, or if we just if we have the feeling of nationalism, that is called in Hindi Rashtravad. So we just get to know our culture, our traditions, our people. Yes, nationalism is a good thing. Even our government says vocal for local. But if we do not get to know that what's happening in other countries, what are the technologies that are getting a boom over there, we cannot just become a developed nation. We will be just in the developing phase if we do not get to know what is happening there. So in that case, globalization is a good thing. If we talk about nationalism, if someone counters my point, if we close our borders, be nationalists, if we close our borders, we don't let the good services to go out. We just give services to our own people. We produce goods for them. Firstly, they won't be able to get the best quality products at the cheap rate. And secondly, we won't be able to have the foreign money, or we can say foreign reserves. Because today we know that the main currency or the main Yes, main currency of whole world is dollars. All the the reserves, the foreign reserves of different countries are just calculated on the basis of how much US dollars they are accumulating. So if the globalization have occurred in China or in USA, so this would not have been the case. If the globalization would have occurred in India,
Okay, Vishal, now please conclude in 30 seconds.
Okay, for the conclusion, I would say that globalization is a good thing. Nationalism is a good option. But firstly, the thing is, firstly, we should work for the people of our own country. But we should not just pressurize them. We should not just create a boundary or close the borders. We should just be globalized. We should promote globalization all over the country. That would be beneficial for the people. That would be beneficial for the humanity because their standard of living will go high. The countries, people will get to know what's going on in the different countries. Yeah, that's the point.
Okay, thank you so much, Vishal, for speaking with us. So he emphasized on advantages like cheap goods, outsourcing. He also gave the example of China that initially it focused on its own people, but later on it realized that its open door policy would actually help for its own development. Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any rebuttals for Vishal?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So as Vishal talked about globalization, I would like to ask him.
Sania, you can also type your question in chat. I guess there is some kind of network issue from your side. Okay, anyone else who would like to question Vishal? Okay, so since all of the speakers have spoken, now I open up the session for round 2, which includes any kind of counter argument, one-to-one interaction, and any kind of suggestions. So please, anyone would like to begin?
To begin with it, firstly, Vishal said the globalization opens a window for us to get the cheap sources, products. Okay, let's take that point into consideration. I want to reiterate historical perspective here. From the first century CE to say 1100 CE, India was like what the power center of the globe. There we don't have the communication we are now having now. And the second position which Vishal iterated was the dollar is being a foreign reserve. Okay, it is a way of exchange of goods across the world, but are you not seeing the monopoly the US hold on dollar? It can trample you to debt. Your economy will collapse if the America decides to do so.
But there's a reason no for that monopoly is that the globalization occurred in that country on a much earlier. So they were just dominating the whole world. And for now, in today's scenario, if we don't just get in par with them, we would definitely be left behind. That's what I said, that if we do not have the globalization or we do not know the technologies or what things are going in different countries, we would be just a developing nation, not a developed one.
Okay, point taken. Now let me revisit to my notion. Since first century CE to 1100 CE, India was source of power. There we don't have. I think it was nationalistic point of view. Okay, we were the golden age of our time. We were the richest country in the world. Everybody wants to come to India because of our riches, and that model arises from where? Nationalism, not globalism. If global America is in superpower from 2 centuries, we have spent thousands of years on the nationalistic model, being a superpower. How are you going to? How can you compare 200 years of success with a 1,000-year-old success?
Firstly, we are talking about fostering globalism over nationalism is good for humanity or not. So in the current scenario, that is in India, people are starving. Free ration is provided to them. You can have, you know what's the condition going on in India? What's the condition of the youth? What people are doing? People are not getting job. So if different companies, I'm talking about the current scenario. You are talking about the past. If we talk about the past, that things would be different. But if we talk about the current scenario, globalization is need of the hour.
Okay, because one of the key aspects of globalization, which we imported, was liberalization, privatization, and the gender identity crisis we are facing. A certain significant amount of youth is missing gender identity. Certain amount of youth is forcing the liberalistic idea, which is a disaster. And since the America won the Cold War, it does not mean the liberal way of governance is it's the way. You look at Russia, you look at China. They are anarchist countries. They are doing fine.
Yeah, they are doing fine because they are adopted globalization. As you can see the structure of China as well as Russia, you will see that it is exporting to the world. And this is not about nationalism, it is about globalism by accessing the markets of various countries in the world. That's why they are rich.
let me put up a point here. They are just not doing good. They are just doing awesome. Because currently India's economy is $3 trillion and China's economy is $15 trillion, which is on pages. We don't know the real figure. They don't disclose their figures because it's a one army rule, one party rule over there. That is People Republic of China. So we don't know the real economy of theirs. They are just doing awesome. You can see their companies that are Tencent, be it Tencent, ByteDance, Pony.ai. They are just ruling all over the world. So why not we just adopt globalization? Currently, I'm using Realme phone. Most of the products in my house are based in China. So why would not I favor? Why would not India can become, if the globalization would happen in India on an earlier phase, maybe we would be developing the same things and we would be selling it to different nations, be it China, Russia, USA, and we would have been a superpower if this thing would have happened earlier.
Okay, you are saying that.
Yes, Nikhil. I would like to give answer now. Ruchi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. The points I want to share, Vishal already had explained.
Okay.
Okay, since you're talking about the import of technologies from the other world. Okay, let's take a look at the space organizations. The NASA, the USSR's space program, the Chinese space program. NASA and the US space program is basically based on the German technology, which was in the Second World War. Now India built the space technology from scratches. It develops its own technology, and look at what marvelous things we have done in space. I don't need to reiterate those achievements. Okay, so I'm saying, don't you think that if we develop our own technology, we will be not only self-reliant, we will be independent. We will not look for other worlds to give us the technology. For example, if we look at, for example, COVID vaccine. We actually developed the vaccine in the country, which was much more cheaper than Pfizer. If had the globalization had we imported the technology from Pfizer, the vaccine shots which we had for free, we would have given perhaps like 1,300, 1,500 rupees for each dose.
Okay, 2 points I would like to put here. Firstly, you talked about NASA and the different space technologies of China and the world. Let me remind you that different scientists from India went to NASA for training so that they can develop that technology in India. There was a movie of R. Madhavan. I don't remember the name of the scientist.
Nambi Narayan.
Yeah, Narayan. Yeah, that guy. He went there. He learned because they have the best technologies in the world.
He went there for cryogenic engines, not this initial space program.
But he went there for learning that technology. Because why? The reason is that because India didn't have that professors, that technology where they can learn and that can be implemented. If India was so self-reliant, why would have we went there? And secondly, why is there a brain drain in India? Because the technologies, the people know that people value the knowledge, their skills more in the different other countries, be it China, not China, but be it definitely USA. People go there and mostly engineers go there. Most of the multinational companies have Indian CEOs. They are based in India. They are, let me specify, they are based in India, but they have done their schooling, their colleges from different countries. They have a better education system. Why this NEP was not deployed or why this was not enacted previously? If this would have enacted, they are learning from the different countries. What can, one more example I want to give on education. Delhi government just sent their teachers to Finland, one of the country, Finland, I think, which is happiest country in the happy index countries. This is top on the list. They went there. They learned how their education system is working, how their teachers are teaching, what values they are employing to the students. So here the thing is, if globalization is not there, no one would have sent the teachers over there, no one would have sent the scientists in USA to learn the technology and come over in India. Secondly, you talked about the COVID vaccines. Yes, I believe and I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of my country that the vaccines were developed in India. But the government firstly put the vaccines for Indian people and then they just exported it. Here also the globalization comes. Government exported the vaccine to different countries to help them. If India would not develop, they would have imported it. Also, the importing also done. Some of the vaccines were imported. Firstly, when there was a crisis or when there was short on vaccines, when we were short on vaccines, some were imported. But when we had a lot of vaccines in multiple amounts, we just exported it. Here also globalization comes. We just have to make the bond with other countries. Our external minister, E. Jaishankar, has emphasized it in his many of the interviews that India will become a superpower when it just goes with different nations taking them together, not going alone. China is doing the same thing opposite. It is going just alone, but India is taking all the nations together and going at par with it. So yes, India will become a superpower in coming 10 to 50 years, and definitely I'm proud of being an Indian.
Fine. Now, Ruchi.
If we say about, जैसे निखिल ने अभी कहा कि why हम लोग बहुत सारी चीज परचेज करते हैं, import करते हैं, why we not produce in India, वो और cheaper हो जाए. तो मेरा ये कहना है कि now the scenario, India's goals to be achieve that position, but still अभी हम लोग not developed countries में count होते हैं. We have lack of technology, lack of human resources. Because of that, many of these students go foreign for higher education, for the well developed jobs. For what? ताकि उन्हें exposure मिल सके. From that और वो इंडिया में आते हैं and फिर उस चीजों को इंडियन इकोनॉमिक्स की बात हो जाए या फिर इंडिया की कल्चर को इनरीच करते हैं. And here it also come the word globalization. As globalization term ही define करता है inter exchange the culture of our countries to other countries.
One point which I have to put over here, Ruchi said that we lack human resource. We don't lack human resource at all. We have 1.140 crore population, which is more than.
Say कि lack of human resources. In
You mentioned that. You mentioned that. That's why I have to say.
Sorry for that. मेरा सेंस कहना ये था, मेरा वो सेंस नहीं था कि आई हैव लैक ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज. फॉर द बात अगर यहाँ पे वो स्पेस क्राफ्ट की हो रही है या फिर यूनिवर्स की जो भी सैटेलाइट्स वगैरह की बातें यहाँ पे नासा इसरो की बात हुई, मैं उस चीज पे कह रही हूँ कि फ्रॉम द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया गोज टू अदर कंट्री फॉर स्टडी हायर एजुकेशन. आई हैव, आप इस बात से नहीं इनकार कर सकते कि आई हैव लैक ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी.
Yes, we definitely have the lack of technology. If the technologies would be here, we would be producing phones like Realme, Xiaomi at a lower prices, and we would be selling it to China. Not China would be selling to us. We have the lack of technology. That you have to agree with me on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so anyone is left who would like to present his or her arguments? The debate is over so early. I guess the debate never ends because the arguments. Anyone?
All the counter arguments for the argument. So if anyone wants to counter my thing, I could definitely put a counter argument. If anyone says.
Okay, anyone who would like to counter Vishal here?
Vishal said we have a lot of technology. I agree with it. Don't you think that is because of lack of governance, not because we were not nationalistic? Lack of governance. Earlier, government what? They were just mere spectators in the world politics. Now, if we talk about space program per se, if it was not Narobi Baba, we would leave Baba and what Baba. He launched a rocket which was built indigenously from a church. Nambi Narayan went to the other country because he wanted to go to liquid fuel. But at that time, Abdul Kalam and other pioneer scientists were keeping emphasis on solid fuel because they want to get mastery over solid fuel. Then they want to move on liquid fuel. Nambi Narayan said, why do we have to get mastery over one fuel and then go to others? That was not the case.
Vishal, do you have any answer to Nikhil's question?
Okay, I will just explain it in 1 or 2 minutes. Firstly, Nikhil is talking about the space program, NASA, right? That Nambi Narayan goes there for learning fluid science, fluid repulsion, basically. So why didn't he learn in India? If India had so much technology, so much resources, why didn't he learn here? Why did he had to go in the University of USA? And even one thing more which comes over here is that brain drain is a big problem in India. Why? Because the foreign universities are at par with Indian universities, be it IIT, IIM, or any. Their way of teaching, their way of education is much, much better than in India. India is just on the road. Yes, you said that thing correct. That I would agree on that. That government was not that good. That would develop the nation. I would just point out the name. Congress was not that good. If BJP was there, definitely, if Atal Bihari Vajpayee would have been the president in 2002 and he would have continued for next 10 years, India would be a leading superpower till now. That thing is for surety. But the governance was not good. But definitely, we are just in the development phase, and definitely we will we are going to rule all the countries. That's the scenario. We will definitely rule all the countries. Talking about that now, ISRO is many. Even now, we can see that many ISRO scientists go to different countries for training, and mostly they go to NASA. NASA has 40% Indian scientists. If you don't have this knowledge, you can search about it. 30 to 40% they have Indian scientists, and that also I said India has the best brain in the world. They have the best mind. They have the best brain. You was talking about 1 CE to 1000 CE. That thing. India had Maharshis. They were having best knowledge in the world. Many people from different countries came in India to get knowledge from them. But Swami Vivekananda went to different countries to share this knowledge because he knew that if people don't know that India is on that development phase, how would they just connect with Indian people? He went there, he delivered his speeches. He even stated that all the words are family. हम लोग सबको अपनी एक परिवार की तरह मानते हैं, ये हमारी कल्चर में शुरू से रहा है। तो ये चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन एक बहुत ही अच्छी चीज है, इसके काउंटर में आप आर्गुमेंट्स रख ही नहीं सकते। अगर आप काउंटर में एक आर्गुमेंट विच यू कैन पुट ओवर हियर इज दैट ग्लोबलाइजेशन ruins people or ruins people lives in only one single way. It exploits people because the goods produced in India are from handmade or handcrafted, but the things we get from the foreign markets are on a much cheaper rate. So for that case, people are just going to be exploited. But if we are talking here about humanity or humankind or that humanity, we are basically talking about good for humanity or not. Yes, definitely it's good for humanity because they are going to have a good standard of living. They are going to get the goods at cheap rate. And that would be beneficial for the people. We are talking about globalization is good or nationalism is good for people. So if we are talking about people, then definitely globalization is a good thing. Yes, that is my counter argument. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Nikhil and Vishal. Since it's already time, so let's now move to the conclusion of this whole debate session. So after listening to all the arguments put forth tonight, I feel safe when I say that the conflict between nationalism and globalism emerges only if a nation's capacity to be a full partner in international arena is lacking. So if in this case a nation joins the global world, then there are chances that the nation state identity would erode and can prove to be devastating for the nation itself. And also while introducing the topic, I mentioned that people fall into dilemma about choosing to be globalists or nationalists. But the way out is that people need to figure out how to be both at the same time. And of course, tonight, more number of people have voted for the motion, which prompts me to say that globalism actually serves to build the world a better place. And hence, it is only pertinent for nations to rise above their parochial boundaries of nationalism to forge a better tomorrow for all of us. With this, we've come to the end of this online event. Once again, a big thanks to all the participants and the audience for joining us tonight. And I also welcome those who have recently.